When you're coming 2,469 miles from his hometown of Westland, Oregon to Baton Rouge, Louisiana, when you travel that far, you're going to be the starter, no doubt. He's ready to go on opening night against Clemson. We're ready to go. Dusty, Sam, Pete, College Football Live is underway. And you know LSU's chief rival over the last decade, they actually have a real quarterback competition, and it's between Kalen Russell and Austin Mack. Alabama's quarterback, as you know, is the most scrutinized player in all of college football. The guy that'll eventually make the choice on what he's really looking for as he pares it down.
I want to know what it feels like when the chips are down a little bit in a practice, or maybe we had a 3-and-out and to move the ball. What do they look like? And, how are their teammates responding to them? So certainly you can't just have the rah-rah guy start if you can't throw the freaking ball. But I'm definitely looking for command because they're both capable physically of making all the plays. So now you're starting to look at decision-making, completion percentages, turnovers, explosives, how all those things obviously weigh out. But then also just, does it look like that guy believes, like, I'm going to make this play? And, both those guys are getting better at that every day.
They need to, because they haven't gotten a ton of reps. Mack a little bit more than Russell, if it means anything, and it probably doesn't. When it came to mop-up time in the Rose Bowl after Indiana annihilated them, it was Austin Mack who did get the snaps on that day, but obviously we have had about 7 or 8 months of observation since then. All right, let's talk about it. Pete, as I mentioned, this is one of the most highly scrutinized battles any team is going to have. It's Alabama's quarterback. What's the scuttlebutt you're hearing?
Zubin, heading into camp, Kalen DeBoer told me he'd like to have about a week and a half of camp with a named starter. Look, these are two very different skill sets in these starters. The best way to think about it is this. Austin Mack, he's like investing in the S&P 500 for the Tide. There's going to be some ups and downs, but you're going to get steady growth. You know exactly what you want. He's a pocket quarterback. He's going to limit turnovers, etc. Kalen Russell, he's a little bit like some semiconductor stocks. There's going to be some big swings, maybe a little more vulnerability, but at the end of the day, the higher profit margin is going to be enticing. Kalen Russell also can run the ball, and I think, Dusty, that's why the Tide is so intrigued by him and why Kalen DeBoer wants a little bit of time to maybe insert some of the packages that would favor him if he wins the race.
Yeah, Pete, I like profit margins. Count me in on that. I just think there's such a high ceiling with Kalen Russell. I mean, you go back, he was the 2024 Gatorade High School Player of the Year. Even go back to A-Day, when they had their spring game, 4 touchdown passes. I like the way he moved in the pocket, moved away from pressure almost effortlessly, could really throw the football down the field. And look, this is going to be a rebuilt offensive line. I want a quarterback back there that's going to be able to evade pressure, make plays on the move. And this is an Alabama offense that can't run the football. You know what helps running backs run the football? A mobile quarterback. I think the ceiling is so high with Kalen Russell. And if it's that close, give me the young guy who's got more of the upside, Acho.
Well, I believe that time in the market matters as well. And Austin Mack has been around this coaching staff, has been around this program. Back in 2023, he was with Washington, was with Ryan Grubb. He understands the playbook, and I understand that he's been there, hasn't played a ton, but there's a lot that he's seen, a lot that he understands, a lot that he'll be able to translate. He's got a 6'6", 237-pound frame, so he has the size, but also I think that the experience within watching practice and performing in practice, I think that can translate with understanding what Ryan Grubb wants to see when the moment gets tough.
Those are the games for Alabama. I almost feel like we need to change our bottom line ticker to the CNBC stock ticker after hearing this. By the way, Disney stock trading at $103 and change, just in case you were wondering. All right, Austin Mack, by the way, year 4 with DeBoer, which actually matters a little bit too. Now, as for Miami, what's interesting about the Hurricanes last year is that their couple regular season losses both came on weeknights. They opened the season Friday, September 4th at Stanford on ESPN. Mario Cristobal, by the way, will be on College Football Live tomorrow. We'll get an inside scoop on everything that's going on with the Canes. And the one thing you need to know since he's been there, up, and away. Last year, they came within a drive of winning the national championship. So, Pete, I want to start here with you. When you're that close, teams that are on the precipice generally do not stand pat. What can you tell us about another, I would presume, new-look Hurricane team?
Well, Zubin, we'll shift to a quick civics lesson here. The theme of this Miami camp is going to be Mario's meritocracy. Mario Cristobal has been resolute about everything being earned and nothing being given. One of the early signs in camp, though, is that Darian Mensah, the transfer quarterback from both Duke and earlier Tulane, has earned the starting spot. That's not a surprise. One of the things that's really stood out to people at Miami, Zubin, is Mensah's ability to throw the ball and lead the talented receivers in getting yak. Malachi Tony led the nation in yak last year, and there's an expectation at Miami that could increase. The other thing that's emerged is competition on the defensive line. Look for Damon Wilson, the transfer from Missouri, who had 9 sacks, to really get more in the run game this year. Damon Wilson had 9 sacks last year for the Tigers, and there's a good chance, guys, you could see a more diverse prospect emerge because of this rugged camp.
Yeah, Pete, I didn't take physics, but I majored in defensive line play. And when you go back to last year, that was the catalyst to this Miami ride to the national championship game. It was really those two bookends. When you look at Akeem Mesidor, Ruben Bain, they were game wreckers, both first-round picks. So what do? You referenced Damon Wilson. I thought he was the best pure edge rusher in this previous portal class. I love the first step, elite quickness, the ability to get after the quarterback, an array of moves off the edge. And I think now working with Jason Taylor is only going to allow him to be better. They've got 3 5-star defensive linemen that came in together going into their 3rd year. It's Justin Scott inside, who was a monster down the stretch of this season. It's also Marquise Lightfoot, who's got real length off the edge, who's going to improve as a pass rusher. And look for the name Armando Blunt, who's got versatility with size, can play inside, can play outside. They've got legit guys, and this defensive line will continue to be a key cog in Corey Heatherman's defense.
Those are some names we got to know. Pete mentioned yak, yards after catch. You know who gets a ton of yards after catch? Malachi Tony. Take a look at these numbers from last year. The guy still needs a telescope to see the NFL draft. I mean, he is just getting started. What a combination you could have between Mensah and Malachi if it all comes to fruition. Sam, I want to go to you here. Last year, he was one of the youngest guys in college football. He'll again be one of the youngest guys in college football. What can he do to take the next step after showing so much out of the gate?
One thing that Malachi Tony does extremely well is his ability to understand football, right? He's great in space. He understands coverages. He understands where defense can be weak. He understands his strengths specifically. And so I understand he's just 18 years old. He plays wide receiver, but you can see him in the slot, see him out at X, see him on the outside. He has such a great feel for what defenders are trying to keep him from doing. And I think what makes him so special, maybe he can take his game to the next level, is continuing to make those big plays. He was their key receiver anytime down the field, even short underneath routes. And so all over the field, Malachi Tony is an excellent playmaker.
And this is what happens when you keep the local guys home. This is what makes those guys want to continue to come to Coral Gables. He's just on the front end. On the way, Reese Davis, official visit with Trinidad Chambliss. What was Trinidad thinking officially when he learned his college football career had been saved by the courts? The emotional answer with RD next. You know, to many, the town of Oxford is known for 2 things: football and Faulkner, the literary legend and Mississippi native. Amazing what he did for the Magnolia State. And on the 100th anniversary of his birth, to celebrate, the town of Oxford created this statue behind him. But it's fair to say even this legendary author could not have written the wild ending to the 2025 Ole Miss football season. In the second installment of our official visit, our Reese Davis spends some time with the superstar of that team. Where else? On the square in Oxford, a screen pass away from Faulkner himself.
Trinidad Chambliss, he was a late bloomer. No Division I offers. He went to Ferris State.
This guy was D2 national champ. Now could he be D1 king?
Chambliss on the move. End zone. Delivers. Touchdown, Ole Miss.
Chambliss inside the pylon.
The plays that he made in the Georgia game, they were Fran Tarkenton-like.
What is it about Oxford that made you want to stay, make it home?
Honestly, it was the community and the people. I felt the love and genuine connection whenever I had an interaction with anyone.
So can you just walk around town? I mean, how often do you get stopped?
You know, when I first got here, no one knew who I was, so like I could do whatever. And now it's every time, like I go out, someone either like says hi or asks for a picture.
Yes. What did you expect when you first came here?
I knew that going into the season, I probably wasn't going to be the guy, and I knew that I just had to focus on myself. Unfortunately, Austin had got hurt, and, the rest is history.
The Ole Miss Rebels have knocked off the Georgia Bulldogs.
This yogurt place, is this your spot?
Yeah, if you get, dinner on the square, it's mandatory to get yayas right after.
I kind of believe in froyo as an hors d'oeuvre. Can we go there first?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, let's do that. I'm going original tart.
Okay.
Here.
I think that's a fan favorite. I'm going to go vanilla today. Cookie dough. What are you getting?
I'm getting kiwi.
Okay.
Maybe just a little caramel on the side. Were you worried at all that you weren't going to get to play this year, the whole court case thing?
Man, I was so stressed throughout that whole process, just the uncertainty of it. I mean, God willing, I think I was going to play football regardless, whether it was in the NFL or back here at Ole Miss.
What was it like when you got the news that it was in your favor?
Big sigh of relief. I could really focus on being the best quarterback for my team.
You're familiar, I'm sure, by now with what they do with the speed limits on campus. 18 because of Archie Manning, jersey number 18. Some places it's 10 for Eli.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think people will get around town if the whole city is like a 6 mile per hour speed limit around because of jersey number 6 because of you?
See, that's why I came back to Ole Miss and wanted to come back to Ole Miss.
Slow down the traffic.
Right, exactly, right.
Lane Kiffin's departure from Ole Miss was not good. Now some recent comments about recruits. They would say, hey, coach, we really like you, but my grandparents aren't letting me move to Oxford, Mississippi. That doesn't come up when you say Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
During the offseason, when Coach Kiffin talked about some of the difficulties that he had encountered in some instances, and he's backtracked from the statements, racially, recruiting, you felt the need, the urge to share your version of the story. You defended Oxford. Why did you think that was important for you to do?
I wasn't a big recruit coming in, so I kind of got to see how it was, both sides, right? When I wasn't a big-time recruit, people were still treating me nice. I didn't have any bad encounters with anyone. I was just spilling my truth, really.
This season, when LSU comes in, how do players really approach something like that?
It's kind of hard to block out that noise and not see it on social media. But you try your best to really focus on where your feet are at that moment in time. Week 1, the most exciting game that I'm looking forward to is Louisville.
What's the most significant thing that you could share, maybe with a young athlete or with anyone who maybe it's not going exactly as they envisioned initially?
I was doubted my whole life, undersized. People thought I was too small to play football and play quarterback. You just trust your journey. Look at me. I was at Ferris State for a lot of years, had to wait my turn there. If I can do it, you definitely can do it.
25 years ago, Eli Manning made the Ajax Diner famous on the square. Now Yaya's gets a national shout out from Reese and Trinidad. I think it's pretty obvious Trinidad is definitely one of the best quarterbacks in all of college football, but where does he stack up? Sam's going to give us his top 5 quarterbacks. Just a friendly reminder, don't shoot the messenger. You got a problem? You tweet Sam. All right? So, Sam, let's go. 5-1. We got all the candidates on the board. This is not fake Levitt. This is real Sam Levitt, if you were with us at the top of the show. All right, Sam, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All the big dogs are here. Who do you got at 5?
At 5, I'll start with C.J. Carr. C.J. Carr potentially may be one of the top quarterbacks drafted. One thing that shows up for him a lot when you watch the tape is big-time plays and big-time moments. Now, granted, he had a lot of talent around him. He still does, right? Jeremiah Love last year, a first-round pick. Jadarian Price last year, a first-round pick. So it may have taken some of the pressure off of him, but at the big-time plays, he was making it when it needed to happen. And so C.J. Carr could be one of the top players drafted. When it comes to college quarterback, I got him at number 5. At number 4, give me Arch Manning. And Arch Manning at 4, there are some highs, but there are also some lows with Arch, right? There were some high highs. You go to some of the throws that he made, go to the Oklahoma game, go to even later this season, go to the game versus Michigan. You're saying, man, look at what this guy can do athletically, but also through the air. So there were some extremely impressive moments. But there are also some struggles last year with Arch Manning, realistically. Early in the season, Ohio State, even week 2, he kind of struggled a little bit. And so Arch Manning from the upside, I have him at number 4. Number 3, Darian Mensah. Darian Mensah, the thing that stands out for me most about Darian Mensah is his accuracy. He was at Duke last year, transferred to Miami. I think he's going to have an outstanding year. But it's just like the way he can place the football. It's something that's very impressive. He's not necessarily gonna run for 500, 1,000 yards per se, but his ball placement is almost second to none. So that's why I have him at number 3.
Okay.
Number 2, Dante Moore. Dante Moore could have been a first-round pick last year. Likely could have been the number 2 overall pick last year. For him, it's the decision-making that stands out the most. Dante Moore is an excellent processor, excellent decision-maker, and you can see the maturity that he's had over the last several years. He gets a chance to, yes, like he lost Kenya Sadiq, he lost a lot of talent, I understand that, but there's level of maturity, level of confidence, level of swagger. Obviously, he has the height, the size, the ability, but number 1 for me, it's got to be Trinidad Chambliss. And I just go to what he did to finish the season off last year. I go to the game versus Georgia in the Sugar Bowl. I mean, he put the team on his back and was nearly impossible to stop. Obviously, you go back to Tulane, go back to even the entire season, not just the playoff. Trinidad Chambliss can do it with his arm, do it with his legs, but more than anything, he knows how to win. And when it comes to what he did in college, maybe it'll translate to the NFL, maybe it won't. But this is what he did last year. Phenomenal numbers and also just phenomenal finding ways to win when it mattered the most.
This is my favorite part of the show. Dusty, tell us where Sam was wrong on everything here.
Well, I'd love to rip this list apart.
Go for it.
I've got the same top 5. I've got a different order.
Okay.
I've got a different order, but I'm higher on C.J. Carr.
Where do you have him?
I got C.J. Carr at number 2. I think C.J. Carr is going to explode this season. And going back to last year, I marveled at what he was able to do as a young player stepping into that spot. Even in the losses they had early on the road, I thought he still performed well. I've got Minshew at 3, same as he does. I've got Trinidad at number 1. I've got Dante Moore at number 4. I want to see him play better in the biggest stages, in the biggest games. And I've got Arch at number 5. I recognize the weaponry, and I thought down the stretch, especially against the Aggies and against Michigan to close out the season, he played well. But I need to see it consistently starting in week 2 against Ohio State.
It is amazing to think that Dante could have been the first or second overall pick in the entire NFL draft, and he's number 4 on Dusty's board. We'll wait to see. A lot of motivation for Oregon. In the spirit of this guy, right? Trinidad Chambliss at number 1. A year ago at this time, nobody was even talking about him. He was a D2 transfer. We know the story. Reese talked about it. In that vein, guys, give me a quarterback we're not talking about right now. Kind of a wild card guy that by the end of the season, everybody will know his name the way we did with this dude. Sam, let's start with you. Who you got?
I'll go C.J. Bailey, quarterback out of NC State. He's been steadily growing, steadily climbing. Hasn't had that breakout season just yet, but he's improved year in and year out. He's 6'6", 218 pounds. When he came in, he was 170 pounds. This kind of freshman phenom that was he was like running like a deer almost, right? Like he's tall, he can run a long strider, but he's developed more as a leader. And so if C.J. Bailey can kind of build up that confidence, not just as a thrower, but also as a runner, he could be a name that a lot more people are talking about this season.
I'm going to take you to TCU, and the name is Jaden Craig. And you probably haven't heard this name because he was at Harvard the last several years. But this guy is a baller. Everybody's going to see him week 0 in Dublin against North Carolina. Great frame, 6'3", 230. He's really accurate in the short to intermediate passing attack. Ball placement is at a premium. Processing is at a very high clip. And naturally, going to Harvard, he's very smart. He set records at Harvard in passing yards over 6,000, touchdown passes with 52, and he took good care of the football. A name to watch out for, not on many people's radar. There will be a household name by midseason.
We'll keep an eye on that quarterback. We take a look at the 5 quarterbacks we had. But if we were ranking these coming out of high school, Nico would have been number 1. On the way, the one addition UCLA has made from somebody who won't even take a single snap this year that could catapult Iamaleava to the next level. Wait till you meet the brand new Bruin. Next. Back on College Football Live. How about this? Former NFL quarterback Derek Carr is going to be joining the staff at UCLA, going to be working on some game planning and strategy. If you're wondering what the tie is here, UCLA's general manager used to be a Fresno State assistant, and of course, that's where Derek played. This is pretty interesting. Dusty, what are your thoughts on this move and what it might mean for Nico Iamaleava as he tries to kind of take the next step?
Bob Chesney just continues to hit home run after home run. There's been so much buzz about this UCLA program since he took the job. They've gotten donations that they haven't gotten in the past. The recruiting is off the charts. And now you bring in an 11-year NFL veteran who's made 4 Pro Bowls, who can now help your quarterback, Nico Iamaleava, who's in a pivotal season, grow, mature, and get a better understanding for the quarterback spot. I love everything about this, and I love everything that's going on right now in Westwood under the guidance of Bob Chesney. And as I look at this schedule, it's about momentum. They've got all this momentum. What a game they have at Cal. JKS and Nico, that's going to be a quarterback showdown. And they can beat San Diego State, Purdue, win at Maryland. Imagine, Sam, if they could get off to a 4-0 start for this Bob Chesney tenure.
I think this Derek Carr move is less about this season alone and Nico Iamaleava, but more about the future for UCLA. Think about what this is going to do for recruits, for quarterback recruits, for offensive recruits. Yes, Nico's going to be better because of Derek Carr this year. Derek Carr has the experience playing in the NFL, playing at a high level in college, second-round pick, etc. But think about if you're a high school kid who's thinking about going to try to pick a school. Let's say you're from California, and you're like, do I stay home? Man, I could go and learn from a guy like Derek Carr, who made a lot of money in his NFL career and also had a lot of success. And so I think short-term, great, long-term, even better.
Yeah, and one last thing, Dusty, for you, nobody was worse off than UCLA last year after the Deshaun Foster firing. It feels like in a calendar year, they have completely flipped the script.
Completely flipped the script, Zubin. And again, that's where if you can capitalize that early with that schedule, there's no telling potentially what happens next year and moving forward for Bob Chesney and UCLA.
We'll see you tomorrow for more College Football Live, where Mario Cristobal will be with us.